Did I tell you about the story about how I became a pornographer in high school, middle school?
A what?
A pornographer? Not like shooting porn, like downloading on broadband and burning it onto a CD.
And selling it?
Yeah, at first it was like TV shows and anime, but then everybody just wanted porn. I was the first person in my podunk, one-horse piece of shit hometown where I grew up in to have broadband. Everybody else either had no internet or 56K, the dial-up.
Oh my god.
But I had broadband, and then I also, my older sister was like, she just started college and she's like, I'll get you like a grown-up present. Like, what do you want? Like, not a toy, like, what do you want? And I was like, I want a CD burner. And she's like, what the fuck is a CD burner? It's like, oh, you could get a fries. And she's like, okay. And then she got me a CD burner. So I got broadband and a CD burner in like 9th grade. And everybody else was either had no internet or dial-up. And then I learned how to use IRC, which was the first place you could go. Like, you know, BitTorrent? That shit didn't exist yet when I was in middle school, high school. I was like downloading a shit ton of stuff on IRC. And it's just like, oh, you want all of Sailor Moon? Okay, I can get you Sailor Moon. Just give me $20 and then I'll get. So I was like pirating shit and putting it onto CDs for people. And at first it was like anime and TV shows, movies, and then it was like, and then it was music. People like music, but then eventually it was just like, hey, can you get porn? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. I swear to God, like, cause you know, Cass, everybody thinks we're coomers, right? But like, I'm not really that much of like a coomer in my private life.
Said that?
I'm like really not that much of a coomer. So like I didn't know what to download, right? But like, you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? They're just like, oh, I guess this is just what I'm jacking into. Yeah.
It was probably, you know, there's power creep. Sexual power creep.
Sexual power
right,
creep.
Like as long as like if you're selling it to some dudes at school or whatever, it's like if it had a booble, then it was probably like good enough.
Yeah.
You know? But these days the power creep has gone to a level where like
it's crazy.
You know, back in the good old day people were using 7-colored rainbow fish, right? Or like the mystical elf.
Yeah,
but these days it's like
yeah.
the XYZ combo X Cornithor.
Every possible, every possible. Are you a narc? Cass, it's a narc! And we pull out our Glocks and we just...
So like, what was the profit like? What was the...
Okay, there's the end of this story. Okay, so I did that over like a period of 1 school year. So not the whole year, but like while I was there at school. And I shit you not, I made like a little over $2,000. I was so rich in 9th grade. I had like $2,400, $2,500. And I felt like a fucking millionaire. I felt so fucking rich.
That's crazy.
I was like buying people Burger King and I felt like a god, like as a 9th grader. God. And my dumbass cousin was like, hey, I know where you could turn that into like 15,000 and you could buy a car.
It's always a cousin.
And then you won't be a virgin, baby Randon.
Oh no.
So my cousin took me to cross the border over to Tijuana, not Tijuana, but like a Tijuana like.
What the hell?
Know? We crossed the border
story?
And then I was gambling and I lost all of my money. I lost.
Oh, what the hell?
I was like fucking crying. I was like gonna piss myself. I was just getting hustled as like a 9th grader. I lost all of my fucking money. My cousin was losing his money too. And then I lost basically all of my money except $200. So like $2,200. And then I was like, I remember driving back home, like being driven back home. And I was like angry crying, right? And then I bought a PlayStation 2 with my leftover money.
Oh, damn.
And then when
it's always a cousin.
Yeah, and then I was like, there was like copium, right? Like I was dosing myself with copium, and it's like, well, I made the money, I worked hard, I lost it, I learned a lesson. Don't ever trust that cousin again. I'm gonna hustle hard. New school year, I'm gonna make that money back, and then we'll be good, right? Over that summer, everybody got broadband.
No.
And everybody, like, you know, it's just like the market collapsed just because the technology caught up to my like piece of shit one-horse town.
The means of production were given to
exactly. So it's just like anyways, that's my story.